Hello everyone, welcome back to another Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous video. In today's Camp Cretaceous video, we are joined by Klayton Fioriti. Say hi.
Hey, what's going on? Glad to be back here, man.
As you guys can see, we have him on the channel quite often because we like to talk, and I think behind the scenes we talk about a lot to do with Camp Cretaceous and Dominion. So putting our ideas together is obviously going to be a recipe for amazingness.
Yeah, it should be fun. Very, very fun. I mean, we talk about Camp Cretaceous all the time, and Dominion and everything else, really. So we've been theorizing quite a lot about Season 4.
And yeah, that's where this video is going to begin with. We're going to talk about the theories, and 5 theories that we personally think, from seeing you guys talk in the comment section and our theories as well, the best 5 of all of them, really. And starting off at number 1, the introduction of Isla Sorna. What do you think about that?
I think it's very likely. It's also something that I think most people are dead set on happening in Season 4. Isla Sorna has been teased in Dominion photos. We already saw that embryo box with Site B on it. We know that Camp Cretaceous ties into Dominion, and we know that they're getting off of Nublar at the end of Season 3. So Isla Sorna is the closest thing apart from the mainland, and I just feel, I mean, it would be such a good idea to go there, because what you could do is basically set apart 3 movies for Nublar, 3 seasons for Nublar, and then maybe Season 4 and 5 for Sorna, along with The Lost World and JP3. But I don't feel like they're going to go to the mainland because it's too early in the timeline as far... We know there's a dinosaur on the boat. No dinosaurs really on the mainland until 2018. So Sorna seems like the greatest place to go if we're not going to be on Nublar.
Exactly, and it's not like it hasn't been teased. Like you said, in Dominion it's been teased to be there, but we don't know if it's on the island or if it's just going to be mentioned, because we've seen a container with Isla Sorna mentioned, and even at the start of Camp Cretaceous, Season 1, Episode 1, the first place we are put in is Isla Sorna. So, to me, it kind of makes sense to have Isla Sorna there, and I don't think bringing the dinosaur back to the mainland is where they're going to go. I don't think going to Isla Nublar again is where they're going to go, and there is a potential for that Site C, Isla Muerta, to be there, but realistically speaking, I think Site B is set and a bit obvious. So that's our opinions there. But talking of getting onto Isla Sorna, how did they get onto there? Through the boat, and that would be because there's something on the boat. But what could it be? What could it be?
Yeah, so this could be really anything small anyways. I know that a lot of people are probably assuming it to be E750, like a little one. At least that's what I think is the coolest idea. If it is a small Scorpius Rex, I just feel like narratively that's the most interesting direction to go, because we know that they could reproduce on their own, and it's got to be a small animal. I mean, it could be Monolophosaurus, it could be Dilophosaurus, right, it could be... I doubt it's a Compy, but it's...
it would be very underwhelming if it was.
Yeah, and I mean, it could be just another baby dinosaur. You know what? They had all that concept art for baby carnivores. Do you remember that for Camp Cretaceous season?
Yeah.
What if it's a baby Carnotaurus or a baby...
Wasn't there a Saurophaganax or something?
There was a lot of stuff. There was also Allosaurus, too.
Allosaurus, yeah.
Yeah.
So it could really be anything. And, you know, again, baby Baryonyx. Like, we saw both of those Baryonyxes at the end of Season 2 on the boat. God knows how long they were on the boat for. They could have nested there because it's a dark, ominous area. So they could have nested there. But we know the actual Baryonyxes aren't on the boat, as we've seen in Season 3. So it could be a baby Baryonyx, could be their offspring. Still yet to know. But talking of other dinosaurs that we could see, we could move into the return of the Spinosaurus.
Yeah, and I think, granted, if we go to Site B, this is the most likely scenario that we'll get, because you don't make a Camp Cretaceous Mattel toy with Spinosaurus and just not put the Spinosaurus in your show. It's too specific of an animal.
Exactly,
and if they are going to Site B, come on, they're going to do Spinosaurus. So
when you link Site B to other things, it's the JP3 Raptors or it's the Spinosaurus. So surely the Spinosaurus has to appear some way.
It opens up the door for so much interesting stuff that could come afterwards. I mean, all of those theories on the amalgam testing and the illegal cloning of 1999 could get introduced and explored here, as well as all of that stuff that was on Dr. Wu's computer in relation to E750. He had that Spinosaurus skeleton.
Yeah, there was a Spinosaurus skeleton and T-Rex, Carnotaurus, and I think Velociraptor, which some people say that's the E750 genome, but the Spinosaurus hasn't been mentioned yet, interestingly enough. So maybe they're waiting to introduce the Spinosaurus into Camp Cretaceous to then confirm that the Scorpius Rex had Spinosaurus DNA, and that's why it's actually on screen in season 1, was it? Yeah, season 1. But not only that, you mentioned about the toys as well. And there's a big Camp Cretaceous Spinosaurus toy that we've known for, I think, since February.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while, and loads of people said because it's been a while, they're just doing it to market and to sell, because Spinosaurus will always sell. But interestingly, before season 1 began, we got information about Grim, the Baryonyx trio, shall we say, and also the Ceratosaurus. Yep. We didn't see them in season 1, but we knew they were going to be toys. Season 2 came about, and we got the toys, and we also got the Baryonyx and the Ceratosaurus in the show. Which goes to show that just because they're in toys doesn't mean that they won't show up. You know what? It kind of makes sense in my head. I don't know about you, but yeah, I guess they kind of skip a season or a few seasons and then they introduce them.
Yeah, and there could also be some pushback because of the pandemic too that we don't know about. Yeah. So I mean, I definitely think one of the biggest theories for Camp Cretaceous season 4 is the Spinosaurus' return, and it just makes too much sense if they're going to Site B. So a lot of these theories kind of play off of one another, but not in an illogical manner. I mean, this totally makes enough sense. And we've already seen that they tried to introduce the Spinosaurus through Fallen Kingdom. So it's not like they haven't had this on their minds.
And it's safe to say that, take away the T-Rex, the Spinosaurus is probably the most anticipated or the most loved dinosaur out there, because it's the big bad guy of Jurassic Park 3. And
yeah, and also on top of that, there's no more Indominus Rex.
Exactly.
So it's the only direction to really go.
They have to sell the dinosaurs of Camp Cretaceous, and if they don't, then they're going to struggle with that. But
yeah,
when it comes to having that on Isla Sorna, and I don't think it will just be the campers on Isla Sorna, because when we look at it, Manticore as well. Moving on to our fourth theory, Manticore, what are they going to do? Who are they? Will they show up eventually? We don't know. What do you think?
I think it's a good theory that they could be in season 4 finally in the flesh. And the reason I say this is because we already know that Manticore was originally going to be taking on a much larger role due to the unused original drafts of season 2, which would have involved them going after the Scorpius Rex, but also because they haven't shown up yet, and they've already been teased as such an important and antagonistic force for this series. You can't just tease something and never bring it about.
It's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Because you'd expect a brand new rival, shall we say, a genetic company against Masrani Global and InGen. Surely they must get a bit more of a limelight in the series, especially that we know one of the campers themselves work for him. So it's very weird, because you expect to have more information about him, and even in season 2, technically speaking, Mitch and Tiff were supposed to be working for Manticore to hunt down the Scorpius Rex. So It has been rewritten, and I assume that's probably why we haven't seen Manticore yet. Either way, are they really going to wait until the end of Camp Cretaceous to show off Manticore? Or are they going to wait until next season?
It's got to be season 4, at least an introduction to who the heck these guys are, right? It's been 3 seasons, and we still know nothing more than what we did in season 1.
Exactly.
So, they've got to be in season 4. I don't think it's a stupid theory. We already know that they picked up footage of the Scorpius Rex from one of their drones, allegedly. So, I mean, there is something there. There's bits of information where, they could be in the next season, and it's not just a crazy theory that it makes too much sense also, because you don't introduce something and then just leave it and never bring it up again. Otherwise It's what are you doing? What are you trying to convey to the audience? You know what I mean?
And again, Biosim somehow went throughout the whole of the Jurassic franchise under the radar. It was never mentioned, and they're getting their debut in Dominion. So it's not it's not out of the way of what they usually do to hide in secrets. So we've seen it before, but I'm pretty sure big Jurassic fans know about Biosim. They know who they are, especially if you read the books as well. So, thinking about that, is it going to be the same concept? Are we never going to see Manticore? There's a chance there, not a big chance in my opinion, but there's still a chance we may never find out who Manticore are. And I don't know if I like that or not, because it'll be like a mystery. that we'll never find out, or we might find out in Dominion. Some people even think that Manticore are a front company for Biosim, so they're working with them. So there's so many theories when it comes to Manticore, but ultimately, who's running Manticore? Who's the big guy? Who's the boss? You know, like we have Dodson now for Biosim, and I believe we had John Hammond for InGen, and Dr. Wu at some point as well. We've had all of these big names when it comes to other companies, but who's the boss for Manticore? We don't know. Maybe if they are a front, they'll move into to working with Biosim, and that brings us on to our fifth theory with new villains. Who's going to be new villains for season 4, season 5?
Yeah, God, it could be anybody. If they do want to go in the Manticore direction and have completely new characters, it would be pretty interesting if they've got some sort of base on Sorna or something, which could lead even more into the fact that it's just a front for Biosim, which means Dodson. But I don't know. I mean, like, if you look at the last few seasons and you look at characters that have just kind of mysteriously disappeared or died off screen, like Hat or the pilot that just kind of
that was weird as well.
Yeah, it just kind of disappeared, didn't she? You'd think that Dr. Wu would be busy at the Lockwood Manor creating the Indoraptor, but he could also make a return in season 4.
He did have other hybrids on his laptop, didn't he? So
yeah,
there were other files.
There was other stuff also in the first Jurassic World of like the Stegoceratops and other animals like that. So it's not out of the ordinary to believe that Wu could return. But also, I think if we're going to go the Manticore route, you're going to get completely new characters. Now, who these characters are going to be, it's hard to say. Remember, Mitch and Tiff kind of came out of nowhere in season 2.
Yeah.
And it was funny, too, is they kind of tried to play with the idea that Mitch and Tiff were archetypes for Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler when they introduced them.
I did. It was weird, wasn't it? Like, you saw the same outfit, same
I was like,
kind of character design.
Why are they on the island? But it will be interesting. I think, and we'll see what you say about this. I think Biosim could ultimately be what Manticore is.
Because the only way we know about Manticore is through Sammy and Darius mentioning how they're big rival company apparently. But what if Biosim isn't known of right now? What if Biosim is just a small company that people overlook, and Manticore is actually, let's say, their profile now? So people know Biosim as Manticore, and that's why they're a big company. Because why would Darius say they're a big rival when they're actually a front for Biosim, who are technically bigger?
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's something there for sure. And also on top of that, like, Biosim got away with pretty much everything in the first movie.
Yeah.
So they're squeaky clean. Their reputation is pretty... I don't think anybody would ever look in their direction and be like, oh, what's going on over there? So with the new villains, it could very well be Dodson. It could very well be a Biosim-related correlation with Manticore. Whatever it is, these seasons do have human villains. So I doubt they'd do season 4 without a cast of bad guys.
And even like staying away from the human villains, we have potential dinosaur villains. We could have, because if they do go to Sorna, obviously, we won't have the T-Rex, we won't have Baloo the Velociraptor. We could have the Buck Rex from The Lost World.
That'd be cool.
There's always a chance there, and obviously new villains, Velociraptors, JP3 Raptors, Spinosaurus, that type of stuff. When it comes to dinosaur villains, to me that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited to see new stuff in Camp Cretaceous, like not new, but new from what we've seen previously since 2001. It's been a while. One villain that I do want to interestingly speak about just at the end of this video is Hawks. Noticeably, towards the end of Season 3, he was very angry that he wasn't allowed to capture these kids or attack these kids, and even Dr. Wu said that's enough, that they're not our mission. And you could see that he swooped very low with his helicopter to threaten him, to cause a threatening scene towards him. Maybe there could be something there. He was very angry, he wasn't able to pursue and attack them. So we could see him return.
It's a possibility. I know a lot of people have thought that character looks very similar to the character that Blue kills in Fallen Kingdom. It wouldn't surprise me. They've set up a little bit of an anger and resentment towards those characters, so maybe he could come back. If he does, then that would kind of build into the whole Dr. Wu is working for Manticore / is working for Biosim / all of this is created, which would lead us to a bigger story on like where Biosim went after JP1. They'd been there since the beginning. But,
right, yeah.
Which would be interesting. But I think the likelihood of that character being in the next season, I think it's a 50-50 thing. It could happen.
It's because like it wasn't really set up big enough. You know what I mean? But the same way how Camp Cretaceous was written out for season 1, 2, and 3, any small thing could go under the radar and still turn out to be a big thing. So
sure,
maybe like I know Dr. Wu was working for Eli Mills during the time of season 3, but maybe he's also, or maybe even Mills is the big bad guy of Manticore. Maybe he owns Manticore. Yeah, no, thinking about it, we don't really know much about Hawks. All we know is that he's a mercenary, but who's he a mercenary for? Is he for Biosim, for Mills, for Manticore, or was he actually that person in live action that got killed by Blue? There's loads of questions to be asked, to say the least.
Yeah, I would venture that he's just a mercenary working for Eli Mills, but if they wanted to tie everything together, it would be a good idea to bring him back for season 4 and make him kind of a bad guy with a purpose, because he's got that pre-existing anger towards the campers. But there's a lot of different directions they could take it in. Generally speaking, I think what we've discussed is pretty rational. I don't think any of our ideas have been that
they're not
crazy.
So far out there. You know, there's at least some evidence to support them. They're purposeful. There's things that fans want. Overall, I think the five theories that we've picked today are pretty good.
Yeah, and also on top of that, like, you know, sometimes people just make up some wildly crazy thing, and it's funny that as little information we have of season 4, you and I have been able to deduce a lot of things coming up for Jurassic stuff in the future that's like been, if not 100% accurate, like 70 to 80%. So I don't think we're too far off at all.
But yeah, that's where we're going to wrap up the theories, because these 5, you know, they all have some evidence behind them. They're logical, and entirely, at least, I expect one of them to come true, surely. Manticore, new villain, Spinosaurus, what's on the boat, Isla Sorna. One of these things have to come true. But Klayton, thank you so much for coming back onto the channel today for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the video that we've been making.
Yeah, it's been fun, and thanks for coming on my channel. It's always fun to talk Jurassic with you. So anytime, man. Absolutely.
And as a late video reminder, we have done another video on his channel. Depending on the upload schedule, I believe his might be out before this one, what you're seeing. So if you're seeing this first, go over to Klayton's video, which you can probably find a link in the description down below. Check out some more theories about Camp Cretaceous Season 4 and some more information regarding it. But as for today's video, thank you so much for stopping by. Do subscribe if you are new and leave a like if you enjoyed. But most importantly, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below about what's your favourite theory for Season 4. Anyways, I'll catch you all in the next one. Stay safe out there, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye. Hello, hi, you. Did you enjoy the video? Just a little reminder to press that like button and also subscribe. I just want to thank my Patreons for this month on screen right here, as giving me that little extra support really does go a long way. But anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day.